make money on MMA? LaTB. You want to know who to put it in your parlay? LaTB. You want to know our DraftKings stay away? LaTB. So, who has the Leslie Smith underdog pick? Who was the Mexican dude and the lesbian chick? Everybody say it me. Let's ball with the bean. Who's that out there living their dream? Let's ball with the bean. Who's that still smoking on the
Welcome back, everybody. Here in our little MMA verse, we're going to be bringing it at you with a special episode. We had a little bit of extra time and so much going on, we felt that it was just worth it to all our fans to get it out there. Just going to say, I'm feeling a little international today. How are you doing?
A little worldwide.
We've been just studying some of our numbers, and I'd like to thank this side of the moon, everyone on this side of the moon, for listening to LaTB.
We like it.
And
we're into it.
Exactly. Fans from all over. Germany, Poland, Canada. That seems kind of foreign.
France, Japan.
Yeah. Anyone who's listening, thank you. Shout out. Cheers.
Little shout out.
A little cheers.
Little shout out.
Thanks, lads.
Yes, and hopefully the goal of this episode was let's do a bonus episode and see if we can get it out on every source without any hiccups with everything needed.
Prior to the next breakdown, so we don't go through the...
Yeah, so we don't go through it when people are trying to put their DraftKings cards together.
This would be the extra credit of your workload right now. This would be how you cushion yourself.
Maybe it's more so for us than you. Maybe.
So, in the late-breaking sphere of MMA, I'm going to go into a quick one. The fight that has been called off as of late was actually Sam Alvey versus Trevor Smith. Trevor Smith calling out due to injury. Now, new coming debut, Razam Eve now faces Sam Alvey at UFC Gotskin. It's one out still. It's a European one, but either way, damn, that's a tough fight. I would have definitely had Alvey all over Trevor Smith, but now an up-and-comer against Sam Alvey who's been a little wish-washy. I'm interested. That's a scary fight for me all of a sudden. What are you thinking?
I don't know about Sam Alvey of late. I have to do some study on this new kid for sure coming up, because I usually tend to go with the guy that has a little more experience under the lights of the UFC. And where is it taking place at?
I couldn't tell you the venue.
Yeah, there's so much I have to look into.
Right, it's still a few fights off. It was one of the most late-breaking things.
I kind of like Trevor Smith of late.
I've been able to win so much money against him.
Of lately, I feel like his last 3 fights, he's been a total...
Dog fights.
It's like, did he cut his facial hair, and that's why he looks so different? And he's
he used to have a beard. That is a good point. Yeah, I agree. He did.
I actually like Trevor Smith, and I think surprisingly, I might have had him on that fight.
I had Alvey.
Sam.
I had Sam all day.
I would have had Trevor Smith.
Ooh, this changes everything.
Look at you guys. Now this other guy, I don't know. Probably Sam right now if I don't know who the other guy is.
So, another fight that was made as of late, which I already know who I'm picking immediately. We have Gokhan Saki, who just recently fought against Khalil Roundtree. Khalil Roundtree is also a UFC veteran, Ultimate Fighter veteran, won second place against Tyson Pedro, and we know that Khalil doesn't want to go to the ground, and neither does Gokhan Saki doesn't want to go to the ground, being that elite level striking. Guess who knows how to go 3 MMA rounds? Khalil Roundtree. Guess who knows how to strike with even takedowns allowed and involved? I feel like, as I was saying with Henrique, takedown for defense for Saki is garbage, and Khalil does have okay takedowns, even though he doesn't go there. Either way, the striking power and chin, Khalil, money all over Khalil. I feel like he's going to be a heavy favorite.
You think I was just about to ask you that
heavy
question?
Heavy favorite. I think he's going to be a 3-1. Easy. If not, if it's anything less, immediately put money on it. That's why we're giving you this early episode. The lines might come out on some of your betting sites out there across the pond, and they tend to have better stats for it. Khalil in the bag all day. The gas tank. Where's Saki? Sky gonna get that gas that he didn't have against Henrique a month ago? Where's that gas tank gonna come from? Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere.
Agree.
So, is there a fight as of late that you've seen that kind of tickled your fancy and that was made or anything announced?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a big deal fight to just be bringing it up so early, but I think it's Cub Swanson versus T-City, Brian Ortega.
That is a sick-ass fight. I did see that announcement.
First thoughts on it?
First thoughts.
Yeah, what are your first thoughts?
Way closer to a fight than I thought. Cub Swanson has looked really bad against really good people and looked amazing against not so good, not even bad people, but Cub hasn't completely faded. Cub still has a lot in the gas tank left, even though with a lot of injuries. T-City just always finds a way to win, and that's what's kept me in T-City's favor, is he can be losing 2 out of 3 fights. Is this a 5-rounder?
I think it's the main event.
I think it is the main event as well. So with those 5 rounds, do go to Cub in the experience, but that intangible of just being able to finish a fight are in T-City's favor. Eke out split decision Ortega right now. I'm going to have to do more tape study on that. That's off the top of my head, though.
I'm going to say Cub finish into round 4 right now.
That's a 50-50 fight.
I think the experience right now is heavily on Cub's side. I don't think he's looked faded at all. I think the kids that he's been fighting of late are beasts.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's been taking nothing but monster fights.
Agreed.
And I feel like of lately, I've gotten to watch the resurgence of Cub in my UFC watching career,
right,
where all of a sudden he's a guy I never want to bet against when he's in the ring.
I would agree.
Brian Ortega always gets hurt, and Cub's a guy that will take advantage of that.
He can put it on you
in every way.
Yep.
He has so many skills.
Very well-rounded. Even when I'm saying that I have that split decision Ortega, I'm saying that he's losing this fight probably like all 3, 4, 5 rounds and gets a submission off of his back, because that's what usually happens. He gets hurt, people get down on top of him, and he triangles them up or arm bars them or something. So that's a 50-50. That's a coin flip of a fight right now. If
Cub's the underdog on that, if there's a hype train for T-City,
yeah,
then I think you put your money on Cub.
I would totally agree. There's going to be some money to be made on those fights. So, just some other news in our MMA sphere. Did you happen to see what the preliminary views for the last 216 card post Vegas Strong was?
No.
It ended up being 650K, which is right around what these Fox cards have been bringing in. It's a little bit lower. I know that the gate was also notoriously low, and the attendance was also like 3,000 or 4,000 lower. As we said, we would go if we still had the tickets and money to be able to do so. Apparently, a lot of people didn't and decided to stay home.
The whole upper decks were dark.
I remember a couple shots of the crowd and being like, "Dang, there's a gap of 20 seats right there that's completely empty."
It said the whole entire upper level was there. It wasn't even.
I didn't hear that. Wow, how unfortunate is that for Demetrius Johnson and some of Justice pay-per-view monies? I feel like UFC's gonna take care of them, but who knows? And did you happen to catch the lights down guy? Everlast singing "America the Beautiful"?
No, probably for the best.
I think it wasn't aired, but everyone's made us think of it as of this week, because not as
I'll do an impression of it. I haven't heard it at all, but I'll do an impression of it. America. Am I singing the wrong anthem?
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies. So yeah, that was actually you guys have been treated here on the show to Everlast here on the podcast. Thank you. That sounded just like him singing a different song. But apparently Jason Aldean, and there's just
say, can you see?
Jay, I would have swear that was Everlast sitting across from me right now if I wasn't looking at you.
Then you really might know what it's like.
Oh, rock song. It must have been all that weed and stuff you've been smoking. He had some fun interviews.
Who?
On he must have turned them lights down though in the back.
Turn your lights down. All you sinners. I only remember those 2 words.
I would agree. That's definitely
Then
his
you
biggest
really
song.
might know what it's like. I don't think that was him. Yes, it was. Yes,
Yeah,
it
that was him. That was him. He's got a couple hits, and he's done a couple other things.
So did you see that Brian Caraway was fighting Renan Barão?
That eluded me.
Me too. I didn't know it was ever going to happen, but apparently Renan Barão's out, and now it's Caraway took the fight with Saunders. And
Ben Saunders?
Somebody's so far down. I don't know if it's Ben Saunders or not.
Interesting.
I don't know if it's Ben Saunders or
No, because Ben Saunders is 155. Maybe. Yeah, he's gangly. He's like 6'1", 6'2".
I feel like it's some new fighter.
It could be a new guy. Oh, there's a African-American fellow, Saunders. Good wrestling credentials. Might be Sanders, though.
Saunders, yeah.
But either way, Caraway, anytime you get him in there, he's pretty injury-prone. I wonder how he's doing with the breakup with Misha. What's up, girl? Call me when you listening. I know you listening, Cupcake. And I like seeing Caraway, even though it is a very lackluster style. It tends to get the job done, and he's put a lot of hype trains in neutral, good money plays when Caraway's around.
I wonder if it's Jared Saunders.
That sounds familiar as well, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head right now.
Anyway.
So, as of other fights that have kind of been all put together, and we've talked about them and broken it down, I'm just going to give you a little slice of what 218
cut you out a little piece
of what
218
UFC
this
218
monster beast
is
card
turning into. The headliner so far is Max Holloway versus Frankie Edgar. Co-main event, Alistair Overeem, Francis Ngannou. Oh Jesus, I just jizzed in my pants. And then we have
crazy.
Then we have Eddie Alvarez, Justin Gaethje. Prior to that, it's Cejudo Pettis. Which, did you see Cejudo running away from that California fire?
I heard it. Didn't he just break his ankle? He
broke his ankle. So the initial reports were that he broke his ankle. He did not. He just jumped down like 2 flights of stairs or something. But his house burnt up, or his apartment did. He lost his gold medal. And I feel like there was photos of like burnt feet going around. But nothing looked like a 2nd or 3rd degree burn. And he's come out and said like, no, he's fine. He's got like a minor burn, but nothing at all other than needs a place to stay. Will this affect Cejudo, who's so cerebral in most of his fights? Is this something that he's going to be able to get over in time? Because he has looked like a beast as of late, but I think he steamrolls that energy, where if he's been on a high, it's really easy to look like a big dog. This is going to be a big low. He's got to figure out his life all of a sudden again. What do you think is going on in that fight?
I am still on Cejudo train over Baby Pettis.
Woo! Baby Pettis look good.
I thought Cejudo's looked good.
When he had everything in line.
Cejudo's
now he's missing
like,
a house and the hair
he's
on his
mentally,
leg.
Though, you are right, where he is like Rose Namajunas, where you got to have everything there. It's a house of cards.
Yep. So that's just something to pay attention to. Then prior to the Cejudo Pettis, we have Felice Herring, Courtney Casey. But prior to that, we got...
Is it because you don't think Felice Herring's pretty enough?
I think both women are beautiful women.
I do too. I just thought that was a funny angle for her of all people to take, because I was like, what girl?
Yeah, like you're one of the prettiest ones of them all.
Girl.
Yeah,
everybody knows it. Everybody talks about it. I'm sorry if we haven't told you enough.
Right.
Sorry.
Hey, Felice as of late has really come together. That's someone who had those mental games that has turned it on and realized this is a job and has looked amazing.
In all parts of the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, all the way around. Like, she always had it, but it was always separate. It was always kickboxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu. Now she's doing MMA, and it's really working out for her in a long career. So that's a bit funner of a fight than I initially thought. Then we're moving on to Close Tamura. David Tamura. Yeah. And
I love David Tamura right now.
Close, it hasn't looked bad in his fights. I believe he did 2 hype trains.
David Tamura he's the hype train though, and I feel like we talked about it in 2 episodes, or within the last 2 episodes. I just feel like everyone should jump on this hype train. I think this kid's the real deal, and you heard it here first.
Woo.
You got Close right now in that?
Lesbo all over. I think there's money to be had on Close. I feel like Close is a dark horse who I have overlooked. I feel like he's look better every single time I see him, and that I definitely need to watch tape on both of these guys, because Close could be a real live dog in that bout because I feel like he's going to be a heavy underdog. Tamura has a lot of hate behind him. I think.
Don't you think Closa has just as many fights in the UFC as David?
But I feel like he's undervalued in all of his fights, and he comes through notoriously. That's why I gotta really
that's
like
a great fight. That's a banger.
That's what I'm saying. That's a really, really, really fun fight. And then the last fight that we know officially is set on 218 is we got my favorite Amanda Bobby Cooper versus Angela Magana. Whatever Magana, the Puerto Rican chick that likes to show her butt cheeks.
Bobby Cooper has to beat Magana for everyone.
Yes.
This is a big deal for Bobby Cooper.
This is...
Bobby Cooper. Are you listening, Bobby Cooper?
Amanda Bobby
This is a big deal. You fighting for everyone who's ever been bullied on the internet since 1996. Ever since dial-up internet and people got bullied in chat rooms. It's up to you, Bobby Cooper. It's up to you.
And the Tony goes to Lesbo at LaTB for that riveting scene.
Tony for Lesbo.
For Lesbo. Yeah. Is a Tony Award the right award for that? I don't know if it is. I don't know shit about awards.
That would be if I took it on Broadway. I think I'd get a Tony.
Oh, well, hey, LaTB on Broadway? I like where your head's at.
LaTB on Broadway.
So, 218, looking like a mother trucking.
You got over him right now. I have Nagano.
Woo!
Right now. That's just right now.
That's right now. Right, that's right now. Right now.
In the main event, Cody versus Dillashaw. I think we both have Cody right now.
No. The main event is Holloway Edgar. Cody Dillashaw ain't on this.
That's on some other delicious card later on.
Yeah.
Holloway Edgar. We both probably have Max right now. As much as we love Frankie.
Most people do. Yeah, that would make sense to me right now. But Frankie has the answer to a lot of problems.
I think this is an exciting replacement. We never usually replace up in fights when we get a short replacement. So Belal Muhammad was fighting Jesse Taylor at UFC Sydney. Mm-hmm. They replaced Jesse Taylor with Tim Means.
Ooh,
I think that makes it a really interesting fight. Who you have right now on that?
I'm going to say Muhammad off the top of my head. Means has just looked so bad as of late. He's a fade.
Dirty bird. He's fighting too frequently.
Too frequently and not looking good. And he's not getting any younger. Yeah, Muhammad gets into those nasty grinding fights. He's gonna have a couple more of those in his career. Yeah, that's a tough fight though. That's not easy by any means whatsoever.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Joanna Rose.
You champion.
What could Rose do? How do you slay the king?
That would be one of these type of what is he calling it? Rose has to do something Demetrius Johnson-esque. Something where she has to do a move that people aren't expecting, something that people haven't seen before. Rose can throw off those flash submissions by flying arm bars, flying triangles. She's not scared to. She's confident enough to. And doesn't matter who you are, if that right choke comes in, you're not going to be able to defend it. Rose has a shot, like if there was a puncher's chance for submissions, Rose has that. But you're going up against well-rounded all the way around. JJ's even shown us on the ground that she's no slouch against people as of Gedalia. I think Rose Gedalia would be a hell of a fucking fight.
I can't believe Gedalia still got...
Yeah, lost.
Trounced.
And Andrade versus any of these people right now. All of a sudden, it feels fun. Is Bobby Cooper versus Magana?
That's 115. That's
that's right.
Fight.
Yeah. So, definitely one that looking forward to.
Believe Rose will be the cheapest person on the card when they fight, and I will put money on Rose. She is a dog, especially if they're going to stand and throw. She'll get a beating.
She's got good fundamental.
She's a great
kickboxing
underdog.
And elbows and Pat Barry in your corner.
If she's going to blow up, if something weird's going to happen, she's the type of girl to make something weird happen. It is how her head space stays the whole time. If she stays thug-faced the entire time, I watched the stare down and she didn't make. I wasn't nervous for her.
I loved her personality the whole way up to this. I feel like most people or most women in the division are like smiling for the camera, trying to be as pretty as possible and doing the makeup route.
She's going the opposite altogether.
I love it though. She's just like
cute.
Yeah.
She's not even intentional. It's not about that at all.
She has a fade. She has a little boy haircut fade. Like no other women are doing this, but she's married to Pat Barry. Like she's just doing her, and I absolutely love it. She's one of those girls that in high school would always be in sweats or whatever prep school you're in.
Here's the other thing too. Just I'm not like I'm trying to sway you, but
right.
If the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks before fight time, you see Shevchenko on a plane training with Rose in, I think they're at altitude. They're somewhere up in Colorado.
Yeah.
So if you see her come in and train with her, the only person to beat Joanna, or do you think the Joanna she'd beat is so far away from...
I think it's a completely different beast, because when Shevchenko beat her, it was all in Muay Thai fights. So that's a very limited, that's a very different game.
I think the Ferguson-Lee is a very similar way, that what you're saying, like a flash submission. It's because Joanna has such high takedown defense, and it's when they get in the roll that Joanna sends her body momentum back over, so she gets control of that. Lee stopped Tony from doing that in the whole fight. It's one of the amazing things that he did, is control Tony's change of momentum. Like, instead of fighting the fall, he got taken down a lot and then tried to roll on top, which Tony would normally be able to do to all the fighters in the world. But Lee kind of prepared for that and used it against him in ways in the beginning. I think that's how Rose would have to go with Joanna, in a similar way of Lee with Ferguson.
Yep.
What a great fight.
It is a hell of a great fight all the way around.
I was a naysayer about it at the beginning, and I shouldn't even... I feel Misha Tate heart for Rose Namajunas, and I feel...
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like
a
the
turnaround on the Thug Rose. On the Thug Rose, is it the her lover's polyps that got to you, or his piles?
I think it was. Can we get some water up here? All I have is energy drink.
Yeah, but Bismick, I love it. Bismick's like, yeah, me too. Like, he was waiting for someone to say it just as much. Love Olive Rose gimmick right now. It's not a gimmick though. It's just her.
Really her.
It's her.
I love
which
Rose.
Is amazing. Other MMA verse, other MMA.
I want to start a rumor.
Hit me with it.
Rumor: Kevin Lee is Bruce Lee's illegitimate son.
He's not. He doesn't even look Asian.
You don't think so at all?
No.
I think he looks like he could be mixed.
Because he's light-skinned?
No, just because his eyes are a little bit... No. Let's see if that one sticks.
We'll see if that one sticks. All right. I'm sure he'll like it, because it's not a bad compliment. But
no.
You don't want to be shooting any movies.
Oh, good point on that. Hashtag don't crow.
Yeah, exactly. Don't let the Chinese mafia find out that you're an illegitimate son.
Did you rewatch the Ferguson-Lee fight at all?
I've only seen highlights of it, but I haven't sat down and watched the entire thing. So, yeah, the highlight.
I watched it without sound a few times. Tony really pieced apart Kevin Lee a lot worse than I thought. A lot of the times that I thought Tony was in danger, he wasn't at all. Like, he didn't take as many hits as I thought he did in certain scrambles, and the way he rolled with things. I'm even more impressed with his performance than I was watching it initially.
I would agree with
He's
that.
A master.
Yeah. Well, he's changing the game. Yeah, a master in a sense, but he's evolving the sport, because he's the type of people that in 10 years are going to be like, I was watching Tony Ferguson when I was 10, and so they started that exact same style plus adding for 10 years, and then it's going to be this completely different game. He's a visionary in the sport. He's seeing it, and he's implementing what he's seeing better than anybody else right now in the game with his skills and attributes. A lot of them are just will. Like, a lot of those things that I see he's training with, it's not even... It does have physical benefits, but I feel like it's more, and he talks about it all the time, it's because it is hard. It doesn't have any functional use. It's that grinding mentality. This is how you gain the grinding mentality. You fucking grind. No, there's no two ways about it.
Past that point.
Yep.
Over and over
again, and know that your shoulder could be hurting right now, but you got to keep doing it. But then there's a fine line of being able to control yourself, so you don't get punctured lungs and lose $25,000, $250,000 because you can't make a fight, which has happened to Tony Ferguson. It's a balancing act. You have to be able to push enough to be able to gain all of the mental aspects.
Something I don't like watching the video over and over again is Tony has a big ol' high chin, and for him to talk about fighting Connor, that's the most dangerous opening you could have. Is every punch he lifts out. He lifts out. He lifts out, and what a great fight. I feel like the fans are pulling for that one more than, I don't know if Tony's playing it right.
I feel like Tony wasn't playing it right for a long time, but now it's all started to come together. Like, has he really changed what he was always doing? Because a lot of people thought he was weird for a long time, but as we were saying, now we can kind of decipher the way that he speaks, so it makes a whole lot more sense. And I feel like the MMA community is also on that train where they were like, oh, okay, we just didn't know that he was speaking a 0.5 faster on podcast mode, where you can turn it up. He's just in that terms. That's the way. So it jogs you up when you're like, oh, he's not regular. No, he is. He thinks in a bit quicker than we do. Might be the cocaine. But
who for who?
Yeah, I'm joking.
I can't even fathom that. He seems like such a goody-goody. That's the rumor you're going to start.
You heard it here first.
That's the rumor
heard it here first, LaTB.
No way. No, I was thinking, this guy's the real deal. This guy's the real friggin' deal. El Kukui. I'm El Kukui Nation.
Ooh. How would we be able to get that to rhyme? El Kukui.
I'm the Coco Nation. And I even love that because if you're El Kukui in the Coco Nation, then you could just back Joey Diaz equally.
Are you El Kukui confidant? Or El Kukui?
I'm scared of the El Kukui. That would be my shirt. I'm scared of the El Kukui, and it would have dark red eyes. That's it.
And cauliflower ears. A shadow of cauliflower ears.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's the shirt.
Yeah, that would be dope. It looked like horns. All right, get on it. We got to definitely get on that one. That one's
I'm afraid
money.
of the El Kukui.
Feel like we're starting Chupacabra Legends as well on the podcast this evening. That's the kind of breaking, informative MMA talk that you get here at LaTB.
You never know where it's going to go.
Exactly.
What else you got? What else you got going on over there?
I know that there's been a ton more going on. These wildfires have really affected not only Henry Cejudo, but there's other gyms that are having respiratory issues or just a lot of stuff that comes with this amount of debris burning. I'm wondering how a lot of these fighters coming out of South and Central California, Stockton, all these areas, they're all up in flames. How's the training going for them? Is there any fighters coming up on recent cards?
Unthought of things that are, are they going to have shorter lung capacities because they have colds oncoming because of the amount of soot in their lungs?
Right, or even like how we just had a national disaster here, or a natural disaster here in Florida. Their lives, they can literally have their lives going up in smoke, the fighters themselves. So they got a fight coming up in 2 weeks, and they have to find a new place to live, electricity, water, clothes, documentation, birth certificates. Like, Henry Cejudo didn't even get his gold medal. All he had was his wallet and not even shoes, it looked like. So, interesting factors that we're here bringing to you guys. So just keep in mind, we will figure out who these fighters are and where they're coming out from, and if we can get any other dirt, we'll definitely fill you guys in.
Or hopefully not dirt. Hopefully good news if it's...
Right, or that they're in a good space and that they went to Nevada and
what sucks in the world? Like Aldo, real UFC fans will always know what Aldo was. But most of the world will know Aldo as the clip of the guy who ran at Conor McGregor and got knocked out.
Agreed.
It's kind of what Ray Borg became over the weekend. Wouldn't it suck to be that guy, or you think no, big deal?
I think Ray Borg's young enough to come back from that and be like, oh, remember that one time he lost really badly? And 10 years later, you're like, yeah, but nobody can stop him now. With Aldo, I feel like he's on the way out. Like, those clips can come a few more times, where Ray Borg might not ever happen again, because there's not going to be... Right now, in the foreseeable future, there's not another Demetrius Johnson on the horizon in that division, which kind of, again, hurts Demetrius and most fighters in that division right now. Yeah,
for real. What about Alvarez Gaethje right now?
Well, Gaethje, Alvarez has been hurt too much.
I think Alvarez is over.
Yeah, I think Alvarez is on his way out of the UFC. These are big money fights that he's having right now because it's not going to be so bad. That Les dog. Woo!
I know. Is that a sign that we should be... Who's going to be the underdog on that fight, though, do you think? Probably Alvarez has got to be the underdog.
Yeah, Alvarez is definitely going to be the underdog on that fight, in my eyes. So...
And then there's still the GSP and the Michael Bisping.
Oh, that freak show. What a freak show.
That's the money fight. That's the money fight. Edgar Holloway we talked about.
That's just 218. We essentially broke down a 218 count.
In the shorts.
The 218
in
count.
The shorts.
Yeah.
What is going on in the studio? Well, I have to tell you something else that I learned. So do you know every single one of the podcasts, I couldn't figure out why they weren't downloading. And some of them, remember how we were playing music at the beginning?
Uh-huh.
Copyrighted material.
That's why they were all getting
I finally could figure out why they all got flagged, and so I removed that. So if you notice there's some blank spots at the beginning of our episodes, it's because we had music playing there at one time, and I had to get them edited out. So's you knows.
So that's why people are seeing kind of these double casts come up and be weird.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clean it up and figure it all out and get a routine down. I think once the routine's all there, it will all be clean and they'll all be in the right spot and I won't have to take anything down again. But sounds and streams.
The life of an internet star.
I know. I don't know if there's anything else going on. And Cowboy Till.
Yeah, that's still going on. Woo! We still have that one. Yeah, that one.
What do you think? What do you got on that?
We broke that down before. Till the young up-and-comer Cerrone might be on his Eddie Alvarez legs. Still going to be in a bunch of good form. Yeah. So, unfortunately...
Low Bob Feely.
Oh, that's the fight. I knew I couldn't think of one. That's a hell of a fight. I really hate Artem Lobov. I don't know why. I picked him and it's always gone the opposite way. So I'm going with my boy, Touchy Pizza Feely. And I think that if Feely doesn't gas, he can be Artem Lobov. Or Artem Lobov is really turned into a point fighter where he's just going to jab you. Do like that hammer fist, though, that standing hammer fist Lobov does. That's pretty gangster. Everything's there, though. I don't think Lobov
I had Lobov in
that.
I think I'm over the Feely train. I think he's on his way out, and I think Lobov, this is the Lobov that he's going to be when he's 44. I think this is Lobov.
Yep, agreed 100%. 100%.
I think Feely's on his little way down a little. So, and Lobov has put in some great fights. He doesn't really get hurt. It's whether or not he gets submitted. And is Feely going to submit him?
He has that potential. That's where I feel like Feely is
not
better,
that Lobov
well-rounded.
Doesn't get hurt, but I just don't believe Feely is going.
And both of these fighters gas heavily. Both of them do.
What about Misha Tate echoing pretty much stuff we've said over and over again, that she really wants Mark Hunt to get out of the game.
Really? I didn't hear this. So she's championing for him to step away from the sport completely?
Yeah, she doesn't want him to get punchy. She wants him to go hang out with his kids. Be done with it.
So
He's fighting heavyweights, taking too much damage.
I feel like I'm going to get a little off path, but it's going to be in line and it'll all come together. I just saw an advertisement for a Brendan Shaw piece about after the fight, and he talks about his Mirko Krokop fight. Did you hear that? Did you see it online?
I've heard him talk about it a few times.
So there is going to be a whole either Spike piece or some sort of internet piece that he's doing talking about when he saw how much Krokop was getting paid compared to himself after he just knocked him out. He was like, Krokop, okay, well, what do you do after this? Krokop was like, well, that's fight life. Like, that's what it is. And Brandon's like, is it really, man? Is it? And tries to get all existential. And Krokop's like, bitch, I'm from Russia. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. I get knocked out for a paycheck.
Yeah, and did you see all those extra zeros and extra fives added in there? That's why I keep doing it. Even though now Krokop just retired, he was getting paychecks for a long, long time, and he's retired. He ain't going back into the service. He saved his money fairly well, from what I understand, but he ain't living in the United States. He's a god out where he's at in Croatia. Why the hell would he come back here? He's a super knot out there doing super knot shit, commanding forces.
Making that screw, son!
Making that, are they ruples out there? What the hell do they got out there?
Ruples.
Is that
Draconian glass. What about Verdum Tabura?
Fabricio Verdum's already got a fight?
Yeah. October 13th.
I mean, he took no
the tickets
damage.
go on sale. The fight is also the Sydney card. So, Australia, November 19th.
I got Verdum all day on that. All day on that. Tamura?
Yeah.
That's out of nowhere.
Marcin Tybura.
Tybura? Still, that's out of nowhere. That guy, I think, is coming off of a loss. Maybe a split decision win.
It's got to be how quick the heel was. And they're just like, let's put Verdum on a card. He sells tickets.
Well, I'm sure Verdum being 40 and is just like, I took 0 damage in that Wall Harris fight. Let's get another fight. Like, I'm not going to do another training camp for 6 months to fight someone. Like, let this cardio, go to good use right now.
And I guess, who did Mark Godbeer get a fight with on UFC 217?
I haven't heard that he was replaced on that, but again, I'm always liking to bet against Mark
Well, he was
Godbeer
on 216.
Right, and he got pulled.
And he got pulled. So
Is it just going to be on this next weekend?
So I wonder who he could be fighting on UFC 17. Mark Godbeer. And Mark Godbeer, petrified. That's what I think every time with UFC 17. That's my GSP impression. I'm going to put together a reel of all my impressions. I'm putting them out tonight from Everlast to GSP.
I know, and
it's all
really
GSP.
Good.
I'm looking up UFC 17. Oh, I cannot believe we haven't talked about this fight a little bit. I was just scrolling through UFC 217 to...
Is that the next one after? Because this is a dead week as far as UFC goes, but...
Yeah, this is the dead week. There's no way they could give us two pay-per-views in a row. We've got to have a fight night in between, or an all... I think it's a Fight Pass, actually. It's an entire card on Fight Pass.
It's the Till Cerrone. UFC Fight Night 18 is prior to that.
Oh, okay. Another card on 217, Jorge Masvidal versus Stephen Thompson.
I did, yes. That is a hell of a fight. I think you guys know where we're leaning immediately, but that is no walk through the park. Gamebred's going to need to put the game plan together. He has all the best attributes too, but there's nobody else in the division like Stephen Thompson, so it's a very unique riddle that he has to figure out. But again, he has all the attributes and skills in his favor to be able to do that. Fun fight. Both fighters get clipped in fights. Both fighters have finishing potential. But I would say that if there was one advantage for either fighter all the way around, it's going to be Jorge Masvidal's ground game. And just Thompson doesn't have that. But as far as the striking, I'd say it's pretty even, if not maybe Thompson a hair faster. More creative, but again, Masvidal, very sneaky fighter. Again, you're going with Gamebred.
Gotta go with hashtag Team Gamebred all day, every day. It's been a while since Stephen Thompson, and some would say that him training for the last 8 years to only fight what's his face? Wonderly, or Wonderboy. Woodley, to only fight Woodley. Some people say that Woodley's a better version of Gamebred. I disagree. I think Gamebred has that explosion and the what if factor that may happen. I don't think he's worried about a little bit of kicks. I don't think he doesn't have a belt to lose. So, yeah, I think Tyron Woodley used to be a very dangerous fighter before he had a belt to lose. And I think that's the Gamebred you're going to get. So, hashtag Team Gamebred all day, every day.
Any last bit of breakdowns and or just real quick, who would you have in a fight? Ernest from Ernest Scared Stupid or Pee Wee Herman? Who do you think is going to win that fight?
Ooh. I'm going to go with Pee Wee on that.
Ooh. It's that baiting arm, isn't it?
I think Pee Wee was a younger man.
Is it because he's alive? Ernest is dead.
He has so many tricks up his sleeve. He has a bike that can fly.
Huh.
He has teeth that'll jump out with springs.
I'm just throwing out Ernest. Has the intangible of luck. In every single one of his films, that man finds a way to defeat whatever the foe is, via luck or sheer ingenious capability. All of the skills Pee Wee has, Ernest somehow figures a way to redneck style it before it was a redneck style. Parachute turtles, look it up.
But does Ernest have... Tell him Lodge Modge sent you. That was the scariest moment in most children's history. They weren't ready for that.
Oh. So who in both of these fighters' backgrounds, you would say P Whirl usually
P Money.
usually flies around on his bike. The few confrontations he has had, he needs to deploy extracurricular.
I know you are, but what am I? I know you are, but what am I?
Mental tactics.
Man, nah.
So
I'm not.
He likes to
You
play
are.
man games. As from what I know from Ernest, he's been in many battles versus convicts, versus trolls, versus dogs, cats, trailers. There's an old fat white guy and a skinny guy that always do crazy shit too. But that again, the luck factor. It's the flash submission of Ernest P. Whirl. He can take a beating multiple times over, not willing to back down, will stand up with nothing.
Maybe in a
left
3-round fight. Maybe in a 3-round fight, but 5 rounds, it's Pee Wee Herman all day. And in that 5th round, a little bit of
right in the eye.
Right in the eye. A little bit of
the money shot.
The money shot. That's what it's actually called.
Yeah.
P Money. P Money's money shot.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I'm gonna go with turtles and flying turtles. Probably a fan of kids somehow contracting some sort of device to help Ernest somehow have a sneaky attack. I think Ernest goes down in the 3rd and 4th heavily. 5th round, flash submission, probably wedgie death. I got Ernest P. Whirl, wedgie death.
It would be Ernest.
Ernest. I don't know his last name.
Flying turtle. And you know what Ernest's slogan was? Something burn. What up, burn, or something like that.
Oh, burn! Shit. No, yeah, those were the other guys that played off of it. The reason I know Ernest so much in my family is we loved his movies, but then he did an anti-immigration commercial that was just like, if you know illegals, do the right American thing and turn them in. And my dad hated him ever since, boycotted him, and we would force my father to watch those films just so that he realized how people felt about him here in the United States. Joking. We did
fuck
force him
Ernest.
to watch him. We did watch him.
You should want Pee Wee to fuck him up.
That's a good point, actually. I am going
Your
with...
dad would be going for Pee Wee.
Pee Wee money shot in the 5th. Sounds like that's
I
2
just
to 1.
swayed your side. If you want to keep up to date on this argument and many more, follow us on Twitter at Lesbo and the Bean. And for all things Lesbo and the Bean, lesboandthebean.com.
Lesbo and the Bean!